guys, it's Talia Rose, and today I'm going to get a little nitty-gritty with you guys, and I'm going to open up and be a bit vulnerable because I wanted to talk to you about the changes that you and your body go through after giving birth. You know, women say, oh yeah, your body changes after giving birth, or, you know, it's never the same, but they never say, well, what does never the same mean? Like, what, do you grow a third leg nobody sees or what? But people, at least in my circle of friends, didn't really open up and share a whole lot. So I didn't have any heads up on some of the changes that would happen. So I just want to give you a heads up, and hopefully that, you know, this will help. And I think the reason people don't explain what happens is because some of it is really personal, but at the risk of being gross, I'm going to go ahead and just share them with you. So first off, your belly. Well, it stretches out because you have a baby, and then once you give birth to that baby, for a while it's still going to be big, and people are still going to think you're pregnant for a couple weeks after giving birth, even though there's no baby there, and that has to be one of the most just disappointing things. Now, you already don't feel, you know, attractive, obviously, because you just gave birth, so your mind's not even there. So it does kind of help because you're just kind of so wrapped up and excited about having your new baby. It's not going to be as bad as you think. I hardly gave it any notice, even though it was awful. I mean, my stomach would literally hang out of the bottom of my shirts for the first couple days after giving birth. So once you give birth, your uterus is still about 2.5 pounds, and it's like as hard as a rock. So it's not all just flappy, floppy skin. It's still your internal organs trying to readjust. So after 6 weeks post-pregnancy, your uterus will then shrink to about 2 ounces. So it goes from 2.5 pounds to 2 ounces. So you're going to see a huge difference in that alone, even if you're not losing weight. So don't be too alarmed. And if you are nursing your baby, this process will be expedited. It'll happen much faster, and you'll see the pounds go off because your body will spend calories trying to nurse your baby and feed them, but also the nursing process does help your uterus shrink faster, and so I highly recommend it because it is better for your baby also. But anyway, side note, so your belly is going to be just bigger, you know, afterward, obviously. But after about 6 weeks, I was able to wear my normal shirts again, and they didn't look the same because I was carrying a couple extra pounds. I really, personally, I didn't have any motivation to do any dieting or exercise because my energy levels were low, and I don't think that you should feel pressure as a new mom to try to all of a sudden get back slim. A lot of those, you know, moms that you'll see on the red carpet, like, you know, oh, they gave birth, you know, 2 months ago, and look at them in this chic gown now. They'll actually go and get C-sections and then tummy tucks at the same time. So don't feel like that's a standard that you need to meet because that's unrealistic. But now that I am about 11 months post-pregnancy and post-delivery, I still have a bit of a belly, and I'm more of a pear-shaped body style, so I tend to carry my weight in my lower half, so I carry it at my thighs and things like that. So I used to have an abdomen that I was pretty proud of, and now I would never consider wearing any kind of two-piece or any shirt that was too tight around the middle because I am carrying just a little loose skin, and some of it is laziness on my part. I don't work out really, and I don't really diet, so I could do something to help it, but there definitely is just some loose skin that I know that I probably couldn't really ever work off. I can just tell it's just a little bit more saggy than it used to be. Again, I don't want to discourage you, but this may not happen to you, but for me, it's just not quite where it used to be. Now with stretch marks, unfortunately, I do feel personally are genetic, and no matter what the lotion companies try to sell you, I don't think lotion is going to prevent them. I don't think it can hurt, so by all means slather on the lotion because it does help just feeling like you can do something about it, even though you may not get a great result. So just be prepared. I didn't personally start seeing stretch marks on myself until the last week of my pregnancy. It was so disappointing. I thought I was free and clear, and then all of a sudden that last week, about every day that I was still pregnant after that last week, I would get about 5 more stretch marks, so it was really disappointing. Again, I would lotion up all the time, but it was just that when my belly dropped, that's when I started to get all the stretch marks on the lower part of my abdomen. After you give birth, your stretch marks are bright red, and it just looks like someone drew on them with a Sharpie or a highlighter, and it's so disappointing. But it does take several months for them to kind of tone down. So it'll go from red, and then maybe about 3-4 months later it'll kind of go to like a silvery color, and then it'll go from that silvery color, neutral color that fits in with your skin tone a little bit better. However, my stretch marks personally, when I bend over, or if any kind of pressure is put on my belly to kind of like squeeze the skin together, those stretch marks act now as dimples. So it's awful. It almost looks like cellulite now if I bend over or something. So it's really gross. Now, Mayday, you can also get stretch marks on your boobs. Even though they're not carrying a baby, they still do get engorged, and they grow very quickly after getting milk. So, and especially once the colostrum comes in, which is your first milk, and it's a very thick, rich milk, an engorgement that literally just happens overnight, and you can get stretch marks on your boobs that way. So, to be completely honest, I actually do have stretch marks, but just on one, and it's horrible. I don't know that it would be better if they were on both. They're totally uneven. One's stretch marky, one's not. Sorry, ladies. I'm sorry to these ladies. It's a bummer. It's so gross and too much information, but don't feel like you're alone. Gosh, I feel like I'm being so negative. Sorry. I just want to give you a heads up though. Also, I started to lose my hair, and I found out that this actually is somewhat common. Now, during pregnancy, you tend to lose less hair than a typical person. And then after pregnancy, those hormones change, and all of a sudden it kind of like makes up for lost time. Also, if you're breastfeeding, this can aggravate the issue, and you can actually start to lose more hair than you would if you weren't breastfeeding. But I just started to lose patches and patches of hair. Now again, 11 months after giving birth, they're starting to grow back, but I've got short little hair growth patches all over. But my hair really did start to get thin, and it was disappointing, and my ponytail was just like a little rat's tail. I was so disappointed, and it would just come out in clumps in the shower, and that happened for about 8 months after pregnancy. My hair was thinning, and then after about 8 months, it started to grow back. So they are growing back now, but it's going to be a long process. They're kind of patchy, and they're all over the place. Sorry. Also, directly after giving birth, you totally get constipated, and I mean constipated so bad, not like, oh, I had some extra cheese and I'm having a hard time now, but like, whoa, Mayday. Also, if you do get an episiotomy where they rip you where you cut and you have to get sewn back up, it is painful. It is incredible. I mean, even just peeing is painful, so if you can imagine dealing with constipation, it's like, oh my gosh, round 2 labor. Ugh, no one warns you about that. I thankfully did have a friend that warned me about it, so thank you for telling me, because I would have thought I was giving birth to a spiky alien. It was horrible. Okay, so this is also a little personal, but you'll totally leak, and especially it seems like at moments where you're trying to get a little bit more romantic with your partner, and something about that just stimulates a flow, and then bam, you're wet. It's really gross. So you might want to wear pads and a bra at all times. Also, my hips changed, and they got a little bit bigger. I thankfully didn't get any stretch marks on my hips. It was like the one thing that got bigger that didn't get stretch marks, so thank you. But the pants that used to fit me before technically still fit me, but just because something technically fits you doesn't mean that it should be worn any longer. And unfortunately, I had to give a lot of my pants to my little sister daily, so she benefited greatly from them, and she's happy about it. But I was so disappointed because my hips are still a little bit bigger, and pants that didn't used to muffin top me, even though I'm back down to like my normal weight, I'm totally muffin top a princess in those pants, so it's just a bummer. But in a way, honestly, I've embraced my bigger hips, and I'm just going with it, and I'm making it work, because you can't do anything about it, and no matter how much weight you lose, you're not going to lose your hips. So I'm choosing to enjoy them. It's working really well. But no, seriously, my husband finds them attractive, and so that makes me feel attractive. Also, be forewarned, just because the baby has now come out of your stomach and you're no longer eating for 2, that does not mean that your appetite is all of a sudden going to go down. So do watch it and be careful. After giving birth, I wanted to eat anything and everything, and I was just like, I'd see a cookie and be like, get in my belly, just inhale it. It was like Cookie Monster. It was bad. Fortunately, pregnancy is not like a trip to Vegas, and what happens during pregnancy does not stay in pregnancy, and it very much follows you after giving birth. Now, a huge change that will occur after giving birth isn't just your physical appearance, but your perception of your physical appearance and your mindset. For me, I was never one that just thought I was like, oh yay, I'm so pretty, I'm so happy, I love my body. But I was not insecure, and thankfully I've gotten to the place now where after giving birth to my baby, I'm not insecure, but that was due largely in part to a really supportive, awesome husband, and the fact that I'm just willing to embrace it. And you know what, like, my husband loves me and he's gonna continue to love me no matter what I look like, and I'm not gonna put unrealistic expectations on myself to try to look a certain way. The biggest hurdle that you're going to face is just trying to get your mind wrapped around your new body and to view yourself in a positive light still. It is difficult because everything that you used to view as attractive and alluring about your body as a woman all of a sudden turns into tools, and you feel like a utility belt. It's like, okay, I'm no longer sensual or attractive. I am meant to keep a baby alive, and everything is being used as an object of sustainability for a child. And it's a hard concept to wrap your mind around, and it's hard to still feel attractive and fun, but it is something that if you're able to just kind of laugh at yourself for a little while and not put high demands or pressures on yourself, you'll work yourself to a place where you do feel attractive again, and you do feel beautiful, and you do feel like you can catch your husband's eye. Obviously, don't like give up on yourself and just, you know, let yourself do whatever, but don't be hard on yourself. Also, you're probably going to want to change your wardrobe a little bit, because the way that I started to look in the clothes that I used to own were just not the same, and also I felt different, and I didn't want to give up and wear like mom jeans and mom clothes all of a sudden, but I did need to purchase new clothes that just fit my new body style and my level of comfort and what I thought was attractive, and everything really did shift. So by all means, like, go for it. Strive to, you know, fit in all your old clothes again, but don't beat yourself up if you can't, because some changes are just like your hips just can't be dieted out, and no matter how hard you work, your hips just aren't going to go away. Anyway, I hope that this has encouraged you and hasn't discouraged you. I know I've gotten a little crazy, but just have fun being a mama and enjoy it, and especially in the first couple months, enjoy your baby, and don't focus on trying to fit into pants or trying to look a certain way, because your baby's never going to be this small again. So just soak them up. I thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.